Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 251. In the beginning of the book of Job, Satan appears with the angels who are gathering for their council meeting with the Lord. And Satan comes with what's called the sons of God, the angels, but he's not one of them who belongs to God anymore because he rebelled. But God said to Satan in Job chapter 1, verses 8 and 9, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." And Satan replied, "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Now, what was Satan asking? The question that Satan asked is whether Job was serving God with a pure heart just because he loved God, or for all of the benefits that come from knowing God. So to reveal Job's true motives, God allowed Satan to test Job by placing everything Job had in Satan's hands, although Satan could not take Job's life according to Job chapter 1 verses 12 to 22 and Job chapter 2 verses 6 to 8. God has placed limitations. Understand me. Hear me clearly. God has placed limitations on what Satan can do. God is not the author of evil, but he will allow it within certain limits for our testing. Neither did God create Satan. God created Lucifer with a free will to choose to serve him. Satan's identity today is a result of Lucifer's choice to rebel against God. Okay? And Satan described his activity as roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth in it, according to Job chapter 1, verse 7. He's engaged in this really relentless global conflict against God and against God's people. That's you and I, folks. And Satan is the enemy of God and the enemy of truth, according to Matthew chapter 13, verse 28 and verse 39, and also 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 to 12. Now, Satan works through our weaknesses and our limitations, and also uses the attractions of this world. He works in the realm of moral darkness, according to Acts chapter 26, verse 18, as a tempter, enticing us, tempting us to sin. His purpose is to get the children of God to live independently of their Heavenly Father. Then when we give in to his temptations and we sin, then he starts acting as our accuser. So he tempts us to sin, and when we sin, we say, well, look what a lousy Christian you are. So he gets us in temptation and he gets us in accusation. Jesus describes Satan's chief characteristic in John chapter 8, verse 44, which is also evident in all of his followers, the demons. John 8:44 says, "You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies." So deception is Satan's primary strategy, and he has succeeded in leading the whole world astray, according to Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Satan even masquerades as an angel of light, disguising himself and his lying messengers as messengers of truth, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 13 to 15. Those who give themselves over to evil become the agents of Satan, whether they realize it or not. Jesus said to his disciples in John chapter 6, verse 70, "Have I not chosen you, the 12, and yet one of you is a devil?" Meaning they're influenced by Satan. That was Judas, wasn't it? Paul said to the Jewish sorcerer in Acts chapter 13, verse 10, "You are a child of the devil and an enemy of everything that is right. You are full of all kinds of deceit and trickery." Satan is also a counterfeiter. He sends false prophets and false teachers. He sows counterfeit believers among the people of the kingdom, according to Matthew chapter 13, verse 38. And Satan leads people astray by counterfeiting the true gifts of God. Apostate workers engage in religious activities without accepting the power of God's truth, according to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 9. And then Satan blinds the minds of unbelievers. Why does he do that? Well, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4 tells us why. So that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. See, that's probably, to me anyway, Satan's most damaging work. He blinds us that we cannot see how amazing the gospel really is. Our key point today is that Satan is the author of evil and the father of lies, and he relentlessly attacks the children of God, who is the author of life and the spirit of truth. And our key verse, Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who does what? Who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled down to the earth and his angels with him. So good news. For right now, there's still a battle, but at the end, he will be hurled down. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.